Most fighters make the same 5 mistakes with their hip flexors. My name is Kelson. Let me show you what to stop doing and what to do instead. Mistake number 1, stretching without building strength. Most fighters chase passive flexibility. They do static stretches. They hold positions for 15 minutes, feel loose after stretching, thinking they are making progress. But here's the problem: passive flexibility doesn't translate to kicks. You might be able to passively raise your leg to chest height, but can you actively lift it there yourself? Can you hold it there for 10 seconds? That's what kicks require. Active control, not passive range. I stretched every day for about 3 years. My passive flexibility improved. My kicks stayed weak because I never built the strength to control that range under the load. Mistake number 2, training hip flexors every day. So most people think they need to work on them more often. So they do hip flexor exercises daily, high volume, heavy load, and they wonder why they are not getting stronger. Because muscles don't grow during training, they break down during training. They grow during recovery. If you train hard every day, you never recover. You just accumulate fatigue and your hip flexors don't get stronger. I did this for about 8 months, trained hip flexors almost every day without a proper schedule and without really thinking more about it. I didn't see any significant improvement. Then I switched to 3 days per week. That's when I started to see real progress and everything started making more sense. These 5 mistakes are exactly what I help fighters avoid in my 12-week program. I'll show you how to build real hip flexor strength without wasting time on what doesn't work. Application link is in the description, but first let me show you the other 3 mistakes. Mistake number 3, using momentum instead of control. You can swing your leg up to chest height with momentum. That's easy, but can you lift it there slowly and hold it for 10 seconds? That's what fighting requires. When you chamber a kick, you're not swinging, you're holding your knee up with control. When you throw a teep, you're extending from a stable chamber position. None of that uses momentum. It's all controls strength at a specific angle. So most people test themselves by swinging their leg up as high as possible, thinking they have good hip flexor strength. You need to control your leg at every point. Chamber, hold, strike, and return. All of that requires strength, not momentum. Mistake number 4, ignoring the posterior chain. Your hip flexors don't work in isolation. They need support from your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. If your posterior chain is weak, your hip flexors can't generate power. I had this explained to me by my gymnastics coach, Alex, in 2024, because I had no idea how everything works together. Think of it like this: when you throw a kick, your hip flexors pull your knee up, but your hamstring and glutes stabilize your standing leg. They control your balance. They prevent your hips from collapsing. If they are weak, your hip flexors are fighting against instability. They can't produce power because they are busy trying to keep you balanced. I spent a year in 2025 just focusing only on hip flexor exercises, then added the posterior chain work, hamstring strength, glute activation, lower back stability. That's when my kicks got real power. Mistake number 5, not measuring progress. This helped a lot for me because I knew if I was getting better and knew if I was plateauing. You need objective data and tracking your baseline. I tracked degrees of hip flexors when I got serious in January 2025. One of the baseline tests was how high can you actively lift your leg with control. You can measure it every 4 weeks, but in 12 weeks, you can really see the difference from week 1. If it is improving, you know exactly what to keep doing. When I started working with Coach Alex in 2024, I knew the videos from the exercises we'd done, I had weak hip flexors. But when I got serious in 2025, working with Ernie, that's when I documented the baseline, did the exercises, found what works and what didn't, and really saw progress throughout the entire year. Month 4, but especially in month 6 is when I saw a lot of progress. And then just in a year, was able to go and add 25 active hip flexor strength. So here's what to do instead. Build active strength, not just passive flexibility. Train 3 days per week, not every day, but add dynamic stretching every day. Focus on control at kick height, not momentum. Strengthen your posterior chain, not just your hip flexors, and measure your progress with objective data every 4 weeks. That's how you go from weak kicks to powerful control strikes, not by stretching more, by training smarter. If you're a serious fighter who's tired of wasting time on training that doesn't work, I've built a 12-week program that fixes exactly these 5 mistakes. You'll learn how to build real hip flexor strength, how to train with the right frequency, how to measure your progress, and how to turn that strength into powerful kicks. It's application only. Not everyone gets accepted. If you're ready to commit to 12 weeks of systematic training with direct coaching and weekly check-ins, the application link is in the description. Also follow me on Instagram at @officialkelson as I'm working on the training program myself to continue strengthening my hip flexors and get to that 90-degree angle end of this year. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching.